call this week, we would like to talk more about the investment process, how we're going to do it, and how we're going to select the project, and how and how the investment council and everyone play a role into making the investment. So so right now we are 24 participants. So Ling, you think we should wait a bit more, or we should just go ahead with the community call today?
I think we should start now.
Great.
Since we're recording this community call, everybody can listen back on their own time.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. So we also recording this community call, and then later on we'll share publicly on all of our channel and also YouTube. So whoever cannot make it to the community call this week, they can listen to it again and then understand more about how our community works, and then how we make our investment. So first, let's get into the investment process. So before the call today, so this week and also last week, we share with you some of the information about how we make the how the investment process work. So as you recall, by the end of last week, we share with you guys the proposal on our forum called HIP04. So that is basically the outline of how our investment process works. So right now, if I'm not mistaken, K2, you can correct if I'm wrong, but right now we are still open that proposal for the community to comment, and also to have a better look into our process. And then earlier this week, we also share the Medium article when we deep dive more into how our investment process work. So if any of our community member, or also any of the hectare holders are curious, you can have a look into the Medium article to understand more about how Hectagon do investment. So today, Ling, our CEO, will go more into detail and walk you through the investment process. So Ling, please go ahead.
It's me, K2. I want to add more to KT. The thing is that we already put the proposal in the forum for everyone to comment. So please comment on that. And we want to make it really transparent. This time we will make the proposal there for quite a while, maybe 1 week. And then afterward, we will put an on-chain vote. So everyone with G hectare can vote. Yes, I just want to add that, KT.
Thank you very much, K2. That's also bring me to a very important point, that if we have our moderator here in the community call, please help to share the link to the forum, so and all of our community member can have a look, and especially who have the hectare token, you can have the right to vote and comment into the proposal. So Ling, please go ahead, and I will pass the stage to you so you can talk more about how our investment process work. And if you need to share any slide or any visual, please go ahead.
Thank you, Katie. Let me just quickly share my screen here. Thank you, Katie, for the introduction. So for today's community call, what we would like to focus on is to give our communities a sneak peek into our working process, especially related to how Hectagon going to investment from the treasury. So today the focus is more about how the process is going to, and I will also show a sneak peek into how the workflows that we currently follow is going to look like. So the forum is a good place to start here. So HIP 04, that's the about the investment process. That is the proposal that Katie mentioned earlier. So let me just quickly walk through you guys with this proposal. So when you go to the forums to give your feedbacks or to give your comment, it's easier for you to navigate this proposal. So first of all, the motivations for the proposal, the motivation for us to design the investment process this way is the first one is to ensure that every committee members have a place to voice their opinions and to be heavily involved in the selection process. But also keeping things simple for our committee members, so that because working on investment, reviewing investments, and making decisions on investments is what our team is here for. That's our job that we need to do. But having the communities in the process to give us to get everybody opinions on the process, and also basically having someone double check our works, that's very valuable. The second goal for this process that we propose is that for a project that applies into hackathons, we want to keep things as simple as possible. We are quite familiar with the VC's process, and that is quite different compared with working with a launchpad. When a project working with a launchpad, usually they have to go through the application process with the launchpad teams, and then also they also need to run their own campaign on the launchpad platforms to be able to successfully raise funds from that launchpad communities. That process is simply too complicated, and will likely result in a lot of missing opportunities for the fund. And the third criteria that we use when we design this process is that is this process scalable? So right now, running this process is mainly the Hackathon team, our team that running this process, but we want it to be scalable. That means that each part of the process and in the future, more and more parts of this process will be we will be able to open it up for our committee members to join in and basically join in the investment teams for the most active contributors in our communities. Okay, so that's the design criteria. Let me just quickly walk through everyone on the step-by-step of this proposal, and then later I will also show you what is ready available, and demo how the process actually look like. So the first one is the application forms. So the project teams. Okay, let's go down here. So in the first step of our process, there's two options for any project team that want to apply to Hackathon. There's a simple application forms where I will show it later, where there's just about 5 to 7 really simple applications that allow the team to send us their contact details and also their pitch deck. That just allow the team to very quickly give the investment teams their information. And if they submit a simple application form, that's go into a waiting list that the Hackathon investment teams will gradually work through. But each project they also have an option to do a more comprehensive application forms, which we have that forms, but the platforms for them to submit the application, we are building that as we speak at the moment. If the project decide to do a more comprehensive application form, that's about 20-30 in-depth questions on their projects. What it will give them is that it will automatically give them the access to our portals. That means that all the information that they submit to us, and they said that we can publish it to Hackathon communities, it will show up in our investment portals. under a banner called New Deals. That's where all our community members can come into these portals and basically looking at the information of different projects that are applying into Hackathon at the moment, and upvote for the projects that you guys think is most potential, is most interesting. The project that the most number of upvotes will go to another banner called Trending Deals, and any projects that get the votes from our communities that go into the Trending Deals will get the first priorities of review from our team. Okay, so let's go back to this. Proposals. So the first part is the application forms, where the team can choose to fill in a simple form or a more comprehensive one. That's what I just covered. So right now, we have a simple landing page before the investment portals that any projects and any startups can access and read about what Hackathon can do for them, aside from providing financial investment. And here's the simple project form where they can just very quickly, in about 2-3 minutes, give us the name, the location, give us the pitch deck, the website, and who refers this project to hackathons. And then afterwards, our investment team can get to work. Right. So step 2 is about community upvote, and this part that I have also covered in the proposal as well. This is where all the new projects will go into the New Deals banners, and then everyone in our communities can just simply upvote for the project that you guys find is most interesting. And the project with the most upvote get to go into the trending projects. They are the number 1 priorities for our investment team to work through. So if you are a project and you want to raise funds from hackathons, your best option is still going through our communities to provide us with as much information as possible for our community to participate in promoting your projects, and then you get higher priorities in investment review. Right. So let's go back to the chart. So as you can see here, with the project that get into our pipeline for the Hackathon investment team review, what's going to happen next is that the investment team will either say that this project is not ready right now or is not good enough, and put them into a tracking database where we continue to track them, keep in touch with the project to make sure that when they are good enough for the investments, we'll be the first one to be there. But for the projects that the investment teams has approved and say, okay, this deal is good enough for an investment, what we're going to do is we're going to put that deal into a banner of review deals. Any review deal is basically our investment team saying that this deal is going to happen. This deal is we're going to invest in project 1, project 2, project 3, etc. Unless the investment council do a review and then veto our decisions, or in the last review round, the committees review and then veto the investment team decision, then the investment is not going through. So let's go back to this proposal. Right. So after the third step, basically after the first step, the projects will go into the review deals for the investment council to review. And before the investment council reviews, the investment team will do the investment reports for the investment council. And the role of the investment council here is more about double checks on our investment team works to make sure that we follow proper procedures and making sure that the decision that we make is the correct one and in the best interest of the committees of the committee of Hackathon. And if the investment council decide that, okay, the investment is good enough for it to go through, then it will still, then the communities will still have time to put in your vote in terms of whether or not you think this deal should go through. And to keep it simple for our community members, we won't ask you to make the investment decisions yourself, because that's going to be a lot of work and a lot of pressures. What we're going to do is we're going to give the community a report on why we choose certain projects and what's the feedback from the investment council is. And any projects that reach the community review step, they has already get approval from the investment teams and also the investment council. So the community's review is just the last checking step to see if every procedure has been following through properly. And if the communities agree for the investment to go ahead, that's when the investment team will follow up with the teams and strike a deal and make investment into that project. And to keep it as simple as possible for the project, our team is targeting that this whole process for every project and companies should not take any longer than 3 weeks. So that's the overall of our proposal on how the investment process is going to work. And this proposal is still open for comment and feedback right now. So everyone in our community, please go on the forums and provide your feedback if you have any. That will be greatly appreciated. Now, what I haven't covered in here is how the Hackagon investment team, what's the selection criteria in the investment team and how the investment team is going to work. That will go into a separate proposals, and we will also cover this in depth in a future committee call. But for now, I can show you a couple of systems that we are using right now in terms of reviewing and selecting a project. Right. So the first thing that I would like to show you is currently our team, we use Airtable for our simple database of storing the information of all the projects that go into our investment portals. The reason that we use this tool is that it's a very quick and easy way to start it before we build a more customized database for the investment. We use this tool to figure out what we actually want to track and what we actually want to store and want to show to keep track of our progress. So this dashboard will very quickly show us how many projects that we received in the last 7 days. So this is rolling, so it's the last 7 days. And then how many projects that is in the pipeline, in the waiting list, but we haven't had time to review them yet. And also how many projects that we have contact to set up a meeting to review them, but they haven't replied back, or we haven't able to set a date. And then how many projects that the investment team is currently under review. So all these projects, we have already spoke with them, but we haven't made a decisions on whether or not they will go through or they will not go through our investment process. And of course, there's a quick overview of where what is the best source for our project that currently in our database, what sectors they are working in, what business models, what's the average ratings of these projects in our database. And these ratings are basically whenever we review a project, we'll give them a ratings, and through many rounds, we have better and better ideas on how to appropriately assign a rating to certain projects to give us a more quantitative approach to project selection. So the second thing that that I would like to show everyone is, let's say when we contact a project and then set up the meetings, how do we approach to that meetings, and basically what we do. Now for any projects, our own team, we have this investment dashboard that quickly links us to different tools that we use. One of the tools that we use is a note-taking forms and also a research forms. That quickly show like what's the project we are reviewing, or what's the project that we are speaking to, who's the note takers, and what's the setting. So is this note is taken when we are just doing our paper research, basically reading like the white paper, check the website to see if we like the project or not. We'll take note of every information that we can find and put it here. Or if we do an online call or an in-person meeting with them, or an investment team discussions, we'll take separate notes, and at every turn we just assign ratings into different criteria for the projects. And then over time, what we're going to have is a list of notes taken at different times with different informations. But every note will have a ratings that reflects how the investment analysts or how the investment managers think about the projects, a different aspect of the projects, and how they rate them compared to all the others. And then at the end, the projects through the investment decisions and get a yes from the investment teams. That's when our investment team will sit down and then and basically combine all of these notes to make sure that the investment council and the committee members will get the most complete information as possible. Right. So when we another thing that I would like to show our committees is this is the Hackathon Discord. Right now, every project, because as I said earlier, the investment process proposal, we want it to be scalable. We want it to be able for us to be able to involve our committee members in the futures to help us make decisions and also help us on discussion about each of the projects. So right now, what we test out, what we're currently testing is that for every project that we are reviewing, what we're going to do is we're going to start a channel on our Discord servers. So right now, if you are a committee members, you will go on Discord. You won't see this at the moment, because right now we set this as private for the investment team only, and the goal is we want to have some time to work out how the communication should be done on Discord, how the discussion about each project should be held. Let me give you an example. Like for example, for this project, we hold all of the discussion about this project on Discord, so that we have a trails that we can easily in the future open access to our committee members to just come in and review our discussion and review the process that we use to make decision, to make sure that everything is transparent, and to make sure that and also to give in the future give the committees the tools to basically audit our works. So as I said earlier, I won't be able to go into too much of the investment criteria for during this call. What I can show you is what we are working towards in terms of the investment criteria. So this is the type of so I've been working with in venture capitals for a very long time. And for most of the venture capitals, they don't really have a proper training documents in terms of how you review a project, how you should make decisions, and guide any guideline like that. Most of them is just based on the individual's team members' experience. But since we are running an open platforms, a decentralized VCs that invest from a community treasury, what we are working toward now is a more proper guide in terms of how let's say how an online interview with a project is conducted, what criteria you should cover, and what you should look out for. Similarly, how you should score the different criteria of the projects. And what I show you, what I show here is a process that we developed for a venture capitals investing in Web2 that I've co-founded earlier. But for Hectagons, this is a similar thing. We had a similar thing in the workings at the moment as well. And when it's ready, everything will be published to our community members. For example, this is a guide on how to do market research on a project. Right. So, right, and I think, Katie, I think that's pretty much. I think that's pretty much everything about the investment process and our workflows so far. Is there anything else that you would like me to cover?
Thank you very much, Link. I think that's pretty much enough for this section. I think I would like to hear more from the community. If there's anything that you want us to dive more into details, otherwise we can save the topic for another community call because the concept of investing as a VC, I believe it's very new to a lot of the holder and also a lot of retail investor. So I think it will take some time for our communities and also I'll take the holder to understand more about how Hectagon work and then how we make investment process. This will be a lot of we will keep releasing informations and then more details into each of the topic that Link touched today, especially on the criteria and also for the investment council and all the information for to make sure that everything that Hectagon do and all the investment that we're going to make, it's thoughtful and then it's been thinking thoroughly and we will do our best to make the most of our investment. And then make the most of the investment fund. So the main reason that we want to have the community call today to talk more about the investment process because we really want to share with our community the real value and then also the contribution that Hectagon missions and vision to contribute to the crypto space, and then we want to have our community to be part of us and also to be part of this mission. So the goal is to get everyone to understand more about the investment process and then how we're going to make them, and then the importance of everyone to hold and stake your Hectare, because when you stake your Hectare token, you will get the governance token when we can have you can have a voice and you can have more of a say into into how our protocol work, and also you can have more a say into what of the project that you are interested in, but also you can vote for the investment council as well. So I couldn't stress this enough that when you hold and stake the Hectare, you will have the governance power. Is there anything else I'm missing? K2, you want to add anything more into that?
Katie, I just want to add here that even though Hectagon RTG is only about less than 2 weeks earlier, and when everybody look at the tokens in the short term, it might be very exciting, but token price and token movement in the short term is really quite random, and so the And the main business models of Hackathon is about taking the community treasuries and then able to participate in the seed and private rounds of other potential projects that can create the real gains in profits and in values in the future. And let's just give everyone an example, right? For Hackathons, I think especially in our Vietnamese communities, a lot of some of the private investors that indirectly participate in Hackathon private sales. They said that it takes years for them to be able to convert all of their private hectare into to get unlocked and to be able for them to exit. And right now, at the current circulating supply, it will take them 90 years. Yeah, you're right. Right now, at the current circulating supply, it will take them 90 years, and of course that will be much faster in the future. But my point is that it will take years. But even if it takes years, the value of their assets has already increased by a lot, right? Between the private sale price and the public sales price, that's about 12 times jump in valuation. So similar concept apply to hackathons. If our teams and the communities we are working together, I'm sure that we will be able to get a lot of good deals, referrals from reputable VCs, and also participate in a lot of good private and seed strategic private investment round. And even though even as a private investors, most likely your token will get locked for a very long time. That doesn't matter because the asset of the value is still increasing 10 times, 20 times, and even more depends on the markets. Especially like right now, Hackathon's launching in a bear market, and we're still able to about tenfold the asset value of the investors. And for all of our hectare holders, regardless of whether or not the assets in the treasury is locked or not, it's not really affecting any of the hectare holders because the treasury is a big pile of assets that backing for our market cap. So basically, the hectare holders can just exit anytime they want. So I think that's a really exciting model.
Thank you very much, Linh, for to elaborate more on my point. So I hope that all the participants here and also the people going to listen to our community call again will understand more of our vision and also the power that you have that going to we would like to say change, but we get to that later. But hope that we can do that into the crypto space. So I think it's almost 40 minutes past of our committee call today. I would like to go into some of the Q&A questions. So before this call, we sent out a form for our community to ask questions and then to raise some of the topic that they want us to tap into, and then we're really glad that we received over 30 questions from our community, both in Vietnamese and both in English. And then we hope later on when we open more of the local community, we will have more questions from the community, and then we can have a chance to address this on our community call. So for the community call, we aim to do this every week, so we can have an open platform to between Hackathon development team and our community member and also our token holder as well. So please, save your time, join our community call, and then raise your question, and then we will try our best to address all of them as we can. So, so one of the thing I want to share that we have our 2 community calls. So this is the second one, and we've been holding the call in this time for 2 times already. And next time we probably will ask you guys to suggest us for another time when we can have more coverage from other time zone, because we have our holder from all over the world as well. So first, let me open up the list of the questions, and then we can address some of them. So the first one, so I believe that we have Ving here. So Lương Ving, I see you here, and then we do receive your question. So I would like to start with your question first for today. So we receive a question that, does Hectagon have a solution when it comes to uncontrollable total circulating supply of hectare when the inflation is high? And how to ensure that market cap is still grows steadily when the total supply of hectare increase? So K2, you want to answer that question?
We have to answer the question. So the question is how we control the circulating supply of hectare, and how to make it like how to deal with this inflation. So the problem is that for Hectagon we have the situation is that for Hectagon we have in code we have implement a function to limit the number of hectares that we are going to mint every year. So you see that in the proposal in the document in the doc, you can see that we have a proposal that in the first year we are going to sell no more than 2 million hectares, and the total supply of hectares is no more than 20 million. So actually the number of circulating will be much more smaller. So can we control the circulating supply? Yes, we can control it, because we already limit the total number of hectare that we are going to meet. The second thing is that you know that the circulating number of hectare is only counted for the hectare that is outside of the treasury. So what does it mean? It means that we have to very carefully to spend our treasury. So it means that it's just like normal business. We have to be very carefully to select projects to invest on, because the more we invest, the more hectare that might circulate in the market. Also, we must be very carefully on reward. We have to really select the one that provide value for project, for Hectagon portfolio, and also for Hectagon itself. Then, and another thing that because everything goes through a down voting, so all the number, let's say like the total supply and all the parameters that we put in Hectagon can be changed through a DAO process. So if the DAO see that the number of circulating is too high, so we might use. I just say we might, because right now in our rule right now we never mention like use the treasury to buy back hectare. But what I mean is even if the DAO wants to buy back to reduce the number of circulating hectare, we still have that tool. So actually we design Hectagon in a way that we have many tools. We have many tools to do this, and but it also depends on the DAO. Another thing is that in the next few months, when we release when we start investing, you will see that there's a function named you can burn hectare. Actually, you can burn G hectare to get project token. And when you burn G hectare to get project token, actually you have to pay some fee through hectare, and you have to burn this hectare as well. So it comes back to basic business, basic principle is that if we invest in project, that the project token is very valuable. So a lot of people want to own it. They want to own it even before the token is unlocked, and before even the DAO team like think about how to improve how to increase the token value and other thing. Even so, if the token value, if the project token is so good, so I think people maybe want to burn hectare and at the same time reduce the circulating supply to get the project token. So actually, we have what I mean is that we have many tools to control the hectare supply, and also to control the number of circulating supply and control the inflation.
Right. Thank you. And I just want to add a little bit further here is that so when everybody look at the circulating number of hectares or the total supply of hectares, the first impressions might look very scary um, because we don't see what's the maximum supply is going to be. So what we decided to do is instead of following a vesting schedules like most of the project out there where they have a linear vesting schedule over the course of let's say 4 years or 6 years, where the investor get unlocks, the teams get unlocked, the marketing funds get unlocked, and then all these own sort of different pools in the tokenomics get unlocked at a fixed rate linearly. That's in the beginnings might look really safe in terms of what's the maximum supply is going to be, but in realities it's impossible for anyone to predict what's the real growth rate of a project is going to be. And I have invested in a lot of projects where they run into troubles that their tokens just get unlocked linearly every month. But right now they are in a bear market, and their project cannot grow as fast as the token get unlocked, and that's created big troubles where all of these tokens get from the investors, from the teams, and also from sometimes from different pools gets unlocked and then create a pressures on the liquidity pools and dump the token price really hard. So instead of doing that, what we do is we just come up with a mechanisms for minting tokens that completely in the controls of the communities. For this year, we put a proposals of 20 million hectares in totals that we cannot exceed for the first 12 months, and that has been put into the hard code of the smart contract. So even for our team, we cannot change that. So that still give our committee members the assurance of what's the short-term supply is going to look like. And if you look at the circulating supply of hectares, the circulating supply of hectares only increase when the committees contribute something either to the treasuries or do some work for the ProCon and get rewarded with hectare token. So the minting and the distribution of hectare tokens is also completely in the control of our committees as well. And being transparent in terms of where the hectare get minted from and where this goes is one of our priorities. And as a matter of fact, K2 is actually working on a new interface that will allow our committee members to easily track where the treasury goes and where all the hectares goes. And then one last point that I would like to make is that if you go on the hectare token contract and you look and you check the holder's address, you see that one of the contract that holds about 60% of all the hectare supply, that's the treasury. And the hectares in treasury is not in the circulating hectares. The hectare in treasury just show you how much hectare currently maximum that can be released into the market through rewards and through other means or through investment funds. At the end of the years, if there's still hectare left in the treasuries, and it has not been distributed yet by our communities, that will currently we are still talking about how we're going to handle that situation, but the most likely option is that we will execute some kind of burn mechanisms to burn all that excess hectare in the treasury in preparation for a new year.
Thank you very much, Ling and K2. So I hope that the answer from both of you, that answer Ving question. So you here in the call, so I hope that it give you some you and the rest of the community some assurance that that we are totally in control of the total circulating supply of hectare, and then we come up with all the mechanism to protect and also to manage our treasury and our circulating supply as well. So feel free to ask more questions or raise your hands, and I will get to your question later. But now let's move to the next question. So the next question is, oh, that's also an interesting one. I think Ling should be the one who answer this, or K2, both of you. So nearly 76% of investors have just focused on the token price in the short term rather than understanding the true value of the project. Can you tell us about the motivation and benefits for investors to hold your token long term?
Yes. So let me just start answering this, and if Keiko, maybe you can add in more later. So for the investors, that is more focused on the token price in the short term. That's more of a speculations on the growth of the protocol rather than really investing, because in the short terms, the token price can actually move up or down in a really unpredictable way. Especially with a protocol that is new and currently with a low market cap, with a like hexagons, because right now we don't have any whales in our ecosystem. But let's say for hexagons, we can just that's like as we grow, potentially we might attract a whales into our ecosystem, and a whales with a lot of money can easily move the markets toward the direction that he or she like. So speculating on a price of tokens is really quite dangerous in terms of as a long-term money-making strategy. But having said that, there's also a lot of technical, like a lot of people are really good at looking at technical charts of tokens and then make decision on these movement. But that's not that's not what we do. That's not our profession. So our approach is that instead of looking at the tokens that already available in the public market, which means that they already launched, they already did all their private sales, strategic sales, or the public sales, and then buy into those tokens. There's a couple of disadvantage in terms of doing that. First of all, buying into those tokens, you guarantee to not get the floor price of the token. So you are not getting into that token at the cheapest price available. And I'm speaking on the behalf of the Hexagon treasuries here, and it's about why we are not preferring to use the treasury to participate in any investment that already public. First of all, you rarely get into the floor price. Secondly, if you invest in a token that's already public, it's really quite hard for you to get a sense of the teams, to get a direct communications and build a relationship with the teams that building the protocol. Because by that time that they already launched publicly, they already have their private investors, they already have their strategic investors, their advisors. It's quite hard for you to be able to build relationship with them. So that's why when we started Hexagons, we decided that at least in the beginning, the investment strategy should just focusing on token investment and should only focusing on seed and strategic investment. Because at that point, we are not just putting money into the other projects. We also need to build a relationship with the founding teams get to understand why they decide to start their own projects, and have a sense of how tough they are in going for the long run. So that's me speaking in the position of having access to projects, as VCs usually get access to the seed and strategic investment opportunities. For most individuals, it's really quite tough to get access into these opportunities. So the best, say, if you invest in the best long-term strategy is still about really following the committees, get to know the teams, get to know the vision of the projects, and make investment decision based on how much you think the future valuation of that project can be worth, rather than like how much up and down token can go in the next week, because it's as a money making strategy that's very inconsistent and very dangerous.
Yeah, I want to add something more to Linh. So actually, we in Hexagon we have a concept named the treasury, and if you look at DeFi, treasury actually is a new thing, and if you take a really close look at the treasury, even the biggest project like the Uniswap, if you take a look at the Uniswap, you see that the treasury is only Uni token. So it means that the treasury value actually can going up or going down depend on their own performance. So I think it means like it's a self-protecting, like self-professing. How can I say? What I mean is that because the treasury is considered only their token, so it will not it should not reflect the real value. So you can see that in Hexagon it's quite different. Our treasury is considered first we have the stable coin, and second and most importantly we have the project token. And the project token we buy it at the time the price is really low, because we buy it at the seed round and the private round, and theoretically we believe that because we buy at that time and we choose the project very carefully, so the token win price will increase. So we have a treasury that the value increase as the time go by. And because we have a treasury with a treasury that is value going by, we also have a mechanism for Hectare holder to convert to GHectare, and the GHectare can take a part of the treasury. So actually you can see the reason why you should see the value of the token here, because if the treasury value is going up, you hold GHectare to claim a part of the treasury. So actually the value of GHectare is going up, and also the value of Hectare is going up. So we want, in Hexagon, we really want to take the concept of treasury to the next level to make it benefit everyone. So in the next few weeks, we are going to release the dashboard for everyone to audit the treasury. And just another thing is that if you go to Discord, I have a channel named Hexagon Product with an announcement channel. So if you go there, you can see that the product team is already public on the work that we have. So it's very clear for everyone to see that what is our focus and how we are going to work on the treasury and the audit. And I see that quite a few guys in here already see it. I see 43 live in the meeting log for our recent meeting with the product team. So if you're curious about how we're going to build the treasury, to make the treasury transparent and everyone can see the treasury and audit it, so you can take a look at the Discord. Yeah. So that's everything from me.
Thank you very much, K2 and Linh. So I hope that it will give all the audience here like the look into like the motivation and benefits for everyone to hold the token long term and contribute to the overall mission of Hexagon. So we covered two questions that input in the form before. So I would like to open the floor for the audience here today. If there's any of you want to ask question, we only have the time for one more question due to the limited time of this call. So if any of you want to ask question to the team, please raise your hands, and then I will get to you.
I think we covered quite a bit of information that need time for digesting today. So if no one else has any questions, why don't we cover another question from the list before we go?
Hey guys, it's Felicia here. Sorry, I just got the text from Katie that she got something wrong with her technical issues. Yeah. So do you guys have any questions? You can raise your hand, and yeah, we can pick up your questions and answer it right away. Okay, maybe we will wait for 10 seconds. If no one has any other questions, maybe we can end the call today. And we will open the form again so that you guys can input more questions for the next community call. And we're going to cover that in the next call this week. Yeah, so Katie mentioned before that we will have a community call weekly. It will be held by Wednesday every week. About the timeline, about the exact schedule of each week, we identified that this time may not suit every time zone. So maybe we will do a poll on our community to see which time zone, which schedule might be a good fit for all of our community members, so that more of you can join. But always, if you use the call weekly, we can still upload a recap by text, and so we will upload the voice recording to our YouTube channel so that you can share again anytime. Yeah, so I don't think we received any question right now for the call today. So thank you guys so much for joining the call today. I see many familiar faces on our community, and you guys have already joined our previous calls also. So yes, please stay tuned for our upcoming calls. Will be held every week, and we will keep you posted with latest updates and good news about Hackathon and our development. Thank you so much for joining today. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. See you next week.
Bye. Okay, everyone, goodbye.
Bye, everyone.